Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Qmenera, an Experience Points podcast. We're an all-queer cast Numenera podcast. I'm Kenny, the cast member who plays the lovable and simple lad Hillian. If you love our show, we hope you'll rate us and review us on iTunes or wherever you consume your podcasts. Every review makes Kelric, the GM and producer's eyes, sparkle, and helps new listeners to find us. We don't pay to advertise any of the podcasts on the Experience Points network, so we hope you'll recommend us to your friends and just about anyone. Did you know that we had a Patreon? We are grateful to everyone who's already become a patron. You keep our mics on and our dice rolling. We've got some great rewards, so check them out at patreon.com/experiencepoints.
Be gay. Roll dice.
An LGBTQIA actual play podcast network.
And welcome. This is Qmenera, our all-queer cast Numenera game. I'm Kelric. I am the narrator, and today I am here with my beautiful cast. My pronouns are he, him, and why don't we just start with our normal order. So, Aaron.
Hi, my name is Aaron. My pronouns are they, them, and I play Railu, a graceful glaive who speaks with a silver tongue, and they also use they, them pronouns.
What's up, y'all? I'm Kate. I use she, hers pronouns, and I'll be playing Charlie, who's a strong-willed nana who talks to machines, and her pronouns are also she, hers.
Hello, my name is Kenny. My pronouns are he, they. I play Hillian Jossa, an earnest Jack who howls at the moon, and their pronouns are he, his.
Yeah, it is beat up. So you run up its back, you cleave at its head. It definitely cuts, but not as deep as you want, but a very reasonable amount. And as you're recovering, immediately to your right, like if you were just to turn your head slowly to the right, you would be looking directly into Charlie's eyes, because you two are on basically the same level at this point, and Charlie is right next to you. If they wanted to, they could try to step out and join you on top of the Juraskar. That's how close you are. Charlie, what are you doing?
So would that mean that I'm close enough that if I use the razor ring, would I be able to slash rather than throw it?
Sure.
Okay. Dope. So, I'm going to do that then. Effort. Cause yes. Like I said, Charlie is not built for combat. Yeah, so I'm just going to apply 2 effort and cross my fingers. Ooh, that's a 15 though.
Yeah, that's going to do 2 points of damage. So that's really pretty good. And if you have ciphers that will do more damage, feel free to use those.
I don't really. My ciphers will help me float up vertically, will teleport me, or the other one that I was that I had asked about, it has to be a thinking being in order for it to do anything. So,
Okay. Sure. All right. So that's Charlie's turn. Are you moving at all? What are you doing? What does it look like when you take this slash? Because you're right there.
Yeah. So, she probably, it bumped into the tower. And so while that happened, she, put her hands to like the side of the tower to kind of steady herself. And then seeing it come so close, she grabs the razor ring and she just kind of slashes out at it. But with it being so close, she'll like immediately again, like go to like steady herself on the other side of the tower from where the Juraskar is, because she's not about to be lunch or dinner, whatever time it is.
Okay, so you steady yourself after it bumps the tower. And as it bumps the tower, Railu is using the tower to steady themselves, running
right.
out. You are slashing down as Railu runs right next to you and slashes into its skull. So you slash into its neck right by Railu's shoulder. and then you look at Railu and you're like, I'm gonna move over here, and you go to the other side of the
Like,
tower.
you seem to have this more taken care of. I'm just gonna. It's like those action movies where you have like the one person that's doing all the really, really cool stuff, and then the other person's like pew 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 from the background.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. So now it is Hillian's turn.
So what time of day is this right now?
It is dusk. It is it is getting dark.
So controlled change is, to voluntarily try to transform into my beast form on any night that isn't one of my regular ones. Can I use it to transform early?
Roll me percentile dice and call high or low before you roll.
Okay, hold on. Let's go high.
Ooh, that's high.
74. Yes, you may absolutely use that.
So I think Hillian is very distracted by the hunger pains, and without being able to do anything else to kind of fight off that distraction, he's going to just allow it to take over. And
Okay.
spend those 3 intellect points to try to change. It's a difficulty 3 intellect task.
Yep. It is. So you can expend effort,
I will.
but I don't believe you can any of your other abilities come into play for this.
Nope. So I have 2 edge on intellect tasks, which that is, and I can expend effort on that. So I'll expend 2 effort as well.
Okay.
So I rolled a 3.
And that's what you needed to hit with 2 effort applied.
Cool.
That was exactly what you needed to hit.
Fantastic.
So what happens?
So Hillian kind of doubles over, and they start, growling and sprouting ears, and Jacques immediately flees towards the Anines, and he starts turning into this beautiful pink boy that I put up on the overlay.
So terrible.
Yeah, so that happens.
Okay. So is that an action to...
That's an action.
Okay, so that's your action. I'm going to say, since it is not a normal time, it is also your movement. Like
That's fair.
your turn is turning into Howlinan, which makes it the Juraskar's turn. And do you make any noise when you turn into Howlinan?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
I can't imagine that's a quiet transformation.
It's gotta sound gross, like skin, like
Yeah.
ripping and stuff.
Skin moving and bones and screaming.
Ugh.
Okay. So
But not like man screaming, it's like a rabbit screaming.
this is the beginning of...
And then you also have Charlie freaking out on top of that.
So this is the beginning of round 5. And you can see that the poison is starting to wear off. The Juraskar is getting much more control over itself. It is definitely a little clearer as far as its movement. And it looks like it's in a lot of pain, but it also looks super pissed off. And with Railu being on top of it, its whole turn is going to be spent just stutter shaking, trying to throw you off. So I'm going to need a speed defense roll from them that is... and I'm saying defense because you're just trying to keep your footing here.
Cool.
And let's do this at a TD 5.
Okay, cool. So I don't think, like, I'm not even going to try to sell you careful movement or climbing, but does balance apply here, I'm guessing?
It absolutely does. And I'm actually going to give you careful movement for this because you've been trying to place yourself to hold on, and you are aware of what's coming. Like, you're not stupid enough to think, oh, I'm on here, so it's going to leave me alone.
Right.
So that'll drop it down to a TD5
Cool. Or
from a 7. I'm sorry, a 3. From a 5 to a 3.
oh, okay, gotcha. And then I'm specialized in speed defense.
Okay.
And I have actually I have Kenny's boost as well, unless it's been a minute. So that would bring it down 3
It
steps.
has not been a minute. All right, so it's a TD2. Right?
Come
Well,
on.
specialized brings it down 2
Good
steps.
rule.
Oh, specialized takes it down another 2 on top of all that? Yeah, so it's a
Yep.
0. You automatically pass.
Yeah.
Wow, you just dropped something from a 5 to a 0.
This is what Riley's built for.
That is amazing. And that's the Juraskar's whole turn. You all give me some intelligence rolls
Mm-hmm.
for each of you.
I can't. So
Perfect. All right, so Charlie rolled a 14. And what's Riley going to roll? A 10.
I
Not
put
bad.
effort to it as well.
Okay. Yeah, so the both of you recognize that whatever that poison you used is, the Juraskar by next turn is after you all have one more action before it starts taking actions again.
Doing my best here.
You all have done some amazing damage to this point, but
We're gonna need to sleep after this. That's all I can say.
y'all are gonna need to do something quick.
I got nothing. I just got my sword. My other thing is the moon pendant, and I don't know how to use that.
Well, who's gonna take their turn first? I would be willing to give Howlian that opportunity.
yeah. We didn't really decide what the unarmed attacks look like. Were they medium weapons?
Sure.
We also have other poisons, right, from the party sheet.
You do.
They're also down, though, and neither of us are down.
Cool. Yep. Hillian will run up and attack the Juraskar.
No doubt.
Here. So Hillian will do that.
Well, let's talk about Howlian real quick.
Yep.
So, we know that Howlian is this absolutely hideous, bald, anthropomorphic rabbit with patches of white fur covering like their knees and some of their ears, and basically nowhere else. They are horrifying in the extreme, and they are now. He is a level 2. You're a tier 2
Tier two,
Howlian.
yep.
What does that give Howlian? What does that do for them?
It's still Hillian, so he gets the same sort of things, but basically all Howlian can do is attack and eat. Hillian. I didn't take anything, any other feats that were not intellect feats, so it kind of makes Howlian just this machine for fighting rather than doing anything specialized.
Okay. So go ahead and take your turn. What are you doing?
Cool. Hillian's going to, or Howlian is going to run up and basically slash at the Juraskar with their claws.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone else feel like a machine for attacking and eating just sounds like an angsty teenager? Like, it was me at 13.
I'm like, that explains a lot.
I just can't get the idea that like Howlian eating sounds like, I don't know if y'all play League at all, but like when Cho'Gath uses the feast ultimate, that's the sound I hear in my head when I picture Howlian eating.
I think it sounds way more wet than that in my mind, which I hate.
Yeah, actually, that's a good question. So you're coming up and you're attacking this thing. Are you just trying to bite into it and eat it, or are you trying to hit it?
I think that they're used to clawing out their prey and then eating once they've fallen.
Okay.
But it depends on how angry Howlian is right now. Howlian's just turned into Howlian and is very hungry, so probably it's a claw attack first. but
Okay.
he has 2 edge, and I'm going to apply 1 effort.
All right. Sounds good.
Ooh, that is a 4 on the dice.
So 1 effort is all you applied?
Yes.
So that just dropped it down to a TD4. So you needed to hit a 12 in order to be able to hit.
Okay.
So for your movement and trying to attack, you're just attacking its leg, basically?
Basically.
Okay. So that's a miss. You've done your movement. That's Howlian's turn. They didn't do a whole lot there. So,
Nope.
but I'm gonna do Railu and Charlie see this? Howlian jumping in?
I think Railu's busy.
Fair enough.
I think it would be hard for Charlie not to notice this happen.
Very good. So, who's gonna react to this situation?
I mean, Railu's gonna really try to get that sword into that brain.
Yeah,
As
come on.
gross
You
as
all
that
can-
is.
You all can do this. I have every faith in you. Come on.
Is there like a way to take like a disadvantage to do more damage? Is that a thing?
You can roll
Like a reckless attack, kind of.
20 and get to do apply extra damage.
What do you think I am, a wizard? I'm Will Wheaton over here.
I'm just saying that's what you can do to apply damage.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm.
Now's the
I
time
think
for
we're.
another nat 20.
I believe in you, Aaron. I believe in you.
Thank you. Believe in the heart of the dice. Yeah, I mean, I can't apply any. If I apply any more might, I will pass out. So I can't do that. I have 3 in my pool.
I see that.
So, yeah, I mean, we're going for a straight roll, but I got the medium blade, so that brings it down to a 4,
Yeah?
and that's pretty much what we're gonna do there. So, yeah, let's roll that. Yeah, that's just 1 away.
You rolled an 11.
11.
You did a 12.
Yeah, and then Railu's gonna attempt to jump onto the balcony or like grab Charlie's hand to climb onto the balcony to get off its head.
Well, Charlie is not there to give you their hand. They're at the opposite.
I'm on the opposite side of
Oh.
it because
Oh,
I'm
just-
scared.
Yeah, you can absolutely roll a speed check to make that jump. I'm gonna say it's a TD3 at the most. So, if you want to do something to move that down, you're welcome to do so.
Yeah, I'll definitely apply effort, and then I don't know if balance because I'm on the head trying to. I don't know if that applies to this.
Yeah, I think balance makes sense for
Okay.
making a jump like that.
Cool. And then
I think careful movement makes sense.
cool. And then if I apply effort, that brings it down to a 0. Then
So you don't even have to roll. You just make that jump onto the balcony.
cool. So, I
So
will-
you and Charlie are now together.
Yes.
So Charlie.
This is gonna bring my intellect pool way down. But I am going to use the physical onslaught again. And because I'm desperate, I'm gonna use 2 effort.
Dang. Okay.
Y'all, I'm gonna need a brain break after this.
What does that do to your intellect pool?
I'm at 7 right now, and it subtracts 5.
So yeah,
So,
that's a big deal.
yeah. So this is gonna be brutal. Yeah. So I'm gonna do the physical onslaught again
Okay.
with 2 effort.
Yeah. Oh, a 10 hits. Yeah, you did a 9. You did 4 points of damage.
So that's 4 points of damage. And like Charlie at this point is probably like, holding onto like her temples, like, oh my God. Like, I cannot take much more of this.
Okay, so this Juraskar is beat down. You all have ripped it up. You have slashed at its head. You have slashed at its tendons. You have cut its neck. You have thrown acid on it. And you have done all of this stuff. You can see its brain start to clear from this mind disrupting poison, and it is in so much pain, and you have basically hamstrung it. It's moving at a much slower pace right now. It's going to make an attack roll at Howlian. Give me a speed defense roll.
Cool.
Then let's see what happens.
All right. So Hillian is just like, monofocus and raged. So they'll expend all the effort that they can to do so. So that'd be 3 effort. 18.
Oh.
Nice.
Howlian dodges out
Brilliant.
of that Juraskar's way as if it was moving in slow motion. Howlian has zero issues moving out of the Juraskar's way. And that was the Juraskar's attack turn, so it didn't do anything. Y'all are the worst. It's just the worst. Yeah. Howlian making that. Why don't you take your turn and see what happens?
Sure. Yep. So Hillian will basically jump out of the way of the Juraskar, and I think uses the bottom area of the tower to kind of come back around and then attack the Juraskar from the other side. And applied with 3 effort, rolls a 7.
Yeah, so the Juraskar slams its face down at you with its jaws open, trying to kill you. Just wants to kill and eat you because it is in extreme pain. You 3 have been surprisingly rough as food to kill and have hurt it a lot more than it thought would ever happen, I'm assuming, for a non-intelligent creature that is just trying to hunt and eat smaller things. And you are able to dodge using the edge of one of the support poles on this beautiful tower that has been so helpful to everyone, and swing back around and launch yourself right at its throat. And how much damage do you do when you hit?
4 points.
Yeah. What's it look like when you kill this thing?
I think like its claws around the side, and it kind of swings around and then like latches its jaw onto the back of the Juraskar's neck and just like rips out some flesh as it falls down to the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. That Juraskar is down. It is dead. You all just killed a Juraskar.
It almost killed us too, and it didn't even attack.
That poison took
Oh my
away
gosh.
all of its actions. It could do no actions until this round. This was the first round it was actually able to do anything other than move.
I got 3 might and 7 speed.
Yeah, but you killed a Juraskar. It's a level 7 creature. It had 40 hit points.
Oh.
In Numenera, you killed a T-Rex.
Oh.
The 3 of you took it out. What is Howlian doing before we come to an end for this?
Hillian is perched up on the carcass of this Juraskar, happily eating. Just eating and eating and eating.
All right. What are the other party members doing as this is happening?
I think I put my arm around Charlie and just turn her away and just go, you're not gonna want to watch that.
I mean, I think Charlie is pretty much so mentally drained right now that she's basically using the tower to even hold herself aloft currently because she's just so tired.
Railu wouldn't admit it, but that's why the arm's around your shoulder. I am almost falling over.
For recovery, it looks like you can burn through 2 more because you don't have your action or your 10-minute one. Is that correct? Oh, okay. So you have your 10-minute and your hour long rest.
Yeah, I only used the action one so far, I think.
So now that we're coming to the end of this, why don't you go ahead and use those? Honestly, because of what was going on, I didn't want to throw any sort of intrusions at you all. But y'all just killed a frickin' Juraskar. I'm going to give you each 3 experience points for that.
Woo!
You killed a Juraskar. It is worth 9 experience for the whole party to just have the 3.
Gosh.
So, congratulations.
I do want to.
Holy smokes. I didn't know how this would go, but you all could not have been luckier in how that worked. Well,
Even
done.
with a couple of nat ones.
I could have been a little luckier with those nat ones.
You could not have been luckier with that roll to grab the exact right poison that you
yeah.
did.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That poison saved y'all.
Yeah.
Straight up saved y'all, because this fight would have been much more difficult.
I think we would have died. Or at least one of us. Because we couldn't get away.
Oh, I would have been useless. Like I would not have been able to really use Onslaught again in a way that would have been effective. Yeah, I would have had to have run pretty much. I was down to the end of my means for sure.
Everyone is slowly recovering from their time dealing with a Juraskar attack that, let me just say, I feel everyone lived up to the archetype of the characters they've built. Everything that I saw in my head of this battle with Railu were completely clean, almost elvenly fluid movements as they fought and attacked. That was beautiful. And Charlie had the instincts of a self-preservationist who understood that there were no mechanics around to deal with, and just doing their best, but making sure they were going to survive. So super impressive. And then Hillian
Well,
Hillian was amazing. Like, they took the time to calm the Anines, which is huge, because you all lose those. You all lose. This trip is going to be much harder for you. Then just flipping into Howlinan at the right moment and then killing the Juraskar, absolutely brilliant. Every one of you really just up to its archetype. Now, we come back, and the tableau we see is Howlinan on top of this dead Juraskar, just ripping out chunks of meat in its naked, pink, patchy, furred rabbit anthropomorphic state.
The disdain you have.
Disgust is what I have, not disdain. Yeah, blood covering every bit of its body.
This is not a bias against furries.
Oh, goodness, no.
No.
But this drawing, I find that I do not like.
Thank you, Shivani Art. I appreciate it.
But just coated in blood. Charlie and Railu are just physically depleted and mentally depleted, just exhausted, because killing a Juraskar, while Railu made everything that they were doing look effortless, that was hard. That was the hardest performance they have ever put on. Amazing. Now, you two are exhausted, and Howlinan is noisily just ripping chunks and masticating them. But those Anine, while they were briefly calmed down, are right next to this happening, and they are going to pull away and flee if you do not do something. But you are exhausted. What are you going to do?
I think what happens is that Railu is at this point used to watching Hillian eat things because that was kind of their job. When Tiuna was here, Railu's job was to track Hillian, and then Tiuna's job was to calm Hillian. So Railu would track it and leave little markers along the way so Tiuna could catch up, and then calm Hillian once Hillian had killed and eaten something. So like,
I love it.
It's still super gross, but like Railu is used to it, unfortunately. Like a person was different, but a creature Railu can handle. So Railu is like perched, like laying flat on the deck with just their eyes peeping over so Hillian doesn't really see them. And they like glance over. Do we just notice the name? We just get that?
You can hear them.
Okay, cool. And then Railu like hears that through their like fluttering eyes, and they just like rub their face and like pull their eyes down. And I'm assuming Charlie's inside.
Yeah, I'm still up in the tower.
Yeah, so Railu will open up I don't know if there's a door or whatever, but poke through and be like, I need to go calm the Anine. I can probably sneak past Hillian. If we lose them, we're screwed. And then like, the tower's like 10 feet in the air.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take me a long time to actually get down there using stairs. I think Railu's going to attempt to scale with whatever strength they have left, scale the back end of it.
Okay.
So I'll roll whatever I need to do that.
Well, you can use speed or might, whichever you prefer.
It's going to be speed.
Okay. And you're
and
trying
I have
to stealthily climb down so that you don't get Howlian's attention?
Yeah, I'm trying to climb on the back end of that tower so that way Howlian doesn't see me, because if I take the stairs, Howlian's going to see me.
Okay, so let's make that a difficulty 3. It's going to be pretty demanding. It's going to require your full attention. And you have about a 50-50 chance of succeeding. That sounds about right. So, do you have anything to help you with, I don't know, say, climbing?
I have this cool skill called climbing.
What? All right, so that's a TD2.
Careful movement for the stealth.
That makes it a TD1.
And I'll apply effort, so that'll bring it down to a 0.
Don't even need to roll. Success. Just remove from your pool. Good to go. And then you get to the Anine, and they are bucking and pulling, and you can tell that the ties you have are severely weakened. How are you going to calm them down?
So I'm going to mechanically use effort on my intellect roll to calm them, which will give me an extra level of effort with my smile and a word.
Oh, okay.
So that'll be 2 levels. But I think what Railu's going to do is, you said they're bucking like heavily?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a Juraskar right next to them, and these are not thinking creatures.
Yeah.
And now there's a Howlian next to them, and they are not thinking creatures. So.
Yeah, I think Railu is going to the plan is to attempt to calm them with like some food that we have for them, and then once they're calm enough that Railu's like weakened muscles wouldn't lose them, move them away, like to the other side of this area where like they're on the right side, move them over to the left side.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
So that gives us the 2 levels. I don't know if I need to do this quietly and if that raises the difficulty, but I still have that careful movement.
Yeah.
And then I have,
yeah.
But maybe that doesn't apply. I also have all social interactions. I don't know if that counts with animals.
No.
But I think it does. No? Okay.
No, I don't think it does.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, the only reason I say that is because a smile and a word is a social, it says like, it calls it a social action, so I wasn't sure.
I'm giving you smile and a word as a calming thing, not as a social thing. This is,
okay, cool.
I'm considering that, you can have a presence that is calming in this case.
Cool.
But
so that'll give me the 2, and then I don't know if I need to be stealthily the careful movement, but then I will just apply some effort because it's intellect and I have that. And I'll apply 2 points. This is pretty important, and it's the one thing that I still have, or 2 levels.
Okay.
So that's going to be 2 effort, 2 edge, and a 10. Oh, easily.
Yeah,
Yes.
a 10 absolutely succeeds. You are able to calm them down. It does take you time, though.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably have to spend a good 20 minutes getting them calm enough to even start moving them. And then once you move, where are you how far are you planning on to move them? Where are you planning to move them to where Howlinan won't see you?
I think I would just take them like still a little back along the tree line, but just off to the left side. I mean, I don't know how big that is in like squares, but I'm gonna pull them enough to where if it's with possible, where I could probably like where they're not too deep in the forest, where someone would come near, but but where they can't like sense Howlinan, or at least they're not as nervous by the proximity.
Sure. Give me an intellect check for perception.
Okay. I'll apply 1 level of effort for that then.
And that's going to be a TD3. It's demanding because you are having to focus on keeping these beasts calm and staying out of Howlian's eyesight, because Howlinan will attack anything. So it's pretty challenging. And if you apply effort, you have to roll a 6 or better.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to apply effort and a 10 again.
Another 10. Cool. Perfect.
Nice.
You are able to do this, and you are able to pay attention to your surroundings to make sure there is nothing else, no other threats sneaking up on you. So you're able to find a safe haven for these beasts and yourself to just wait everything out, because you know that Howlinan is only here for an hour. It took you about a half hour to get this done. You know, let's say 40 minutes with climbing down and being careful and doing everything you have to do. So there's probably about another 20 minutes of Howlinan to worry about. So unless you have something to do during that 20 minutes, we're just going to fast forward.
Nah.
Cool. Does Charlie have anything that's going on during this hour?
Probably sleeping, to be honest. She was pretty near brain dead by the end of that. She had 2 in her intellect pool, so there's not a lot of, even I think like just trying to strategize, I think would be difficult for her at this point in time. So she'll probably just make sure that Railu is okay with what they're doing, and we'll try to just. She'll probably just stay where she is, so that way she's not putting herself in danger.
Mm-hmm. Does she actually fall asleep, or does she just sort of zone out during this whole
It's
thing?
probably more of like a zone out, like meditation type thing. Yeah.
I have been that.
I think she could be, yeah. I think that she could be easily like stirred back to like a conscious state, but I don't think she's like fast asleep.
That's totally. I have totally been there. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So 20 minutes passes. The full hour is now done, and Kenny, talk to us about what happens to Hillian at this point.
So I think that Howlinan, chunk after chunk after chunk, eating, and then near the end of their transformation cycle, they curl up into a little furless bunny ball on top of the Juraskar corpse and fall asleep. Wherein Howlinan turns back into Hillian and is snoozing on top of the Juraskar.
A Juraskar is a very large beast, and Howlinan has to eat a medium beast of creature, which I don't see any problem with having happened here. So you are in a medium-sized crater inside the body of this Juraskar that is just
Oh my gosh.
dead next to your puny little campfire as Charlie is zoned out in the tower, and Railu has secured the Anines and calmed them, and now knows, do you make any? I mean, the sort of explosion into Howlinan is this painful, loud thing. Is it the same?
No, I think that reverting back into Hillian is more of a quiet process. You know, the skin kind of shifts back and the bones kind of ease back into place where they're supposed to be, and it's not as violent
Okay.
a transformation.
Well, very nice. So you are peacefully sleeping inside this bloody meat cavern.
Mm-hmm.
And an hour has passed. You come, I'm assuming Railu comes back?
Oh yeah, Railu has a whole plan for this that used to be Tiuna, and like Railu hasn't done it, but Railu's seen Tiuna do it, and it's like the cleaning process of Hillian.
Okay.
Because before the whole thing with Nils, I think like Hillian hadn't had an inkling really before since we joined him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Railu's gonna do their best to clean him up. I mean, you'd have to climb to this freaking meat crater.
I know. So are you climbing in and gently lifting him out?
Railu is doing their best Tiuna impression. Whatever you think Tiuna would do is what Railu tries to do.
Okay. So
TD9.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
let me ask you, Kenny, do you feel like if Railu were to come and sort of like gently coax you out in a sort of half sleepy stupor, would you wake up, or would you be like that toddler who just kind of follows and obeys?
I think given the amount of meat that Howlinan ate, they would be an anchor, like an anvil in the middle of this carcass.
So no waking up, just
probably not. Like it would take Railu like muscling Hillian out of this creature to try to clean him up.
I mean, I got a little bit left, so that's what I would do.
Okay, so
I mean, Railu is a built individual. Obviously, they're exhausted currently, but
I'm gonna say that after everything you've been through, this is a TD4. Because, like, even a firefighter who has to be able to do, lifting a person and carrying them out of a burning building, if it's their, 7th person, that's gonna be a little hard. So I think that's pretty much where you're at with your exhaustion level.
how deep is this crater?
I'm gonna say it's 3/4 of the width of the Juraskar.
3/4?
Yeah.
I guess a person's like 5 feet tall, huh?
Yeah, and I mean it's a limited, like it's basically the chest cavity has been.
This is so gross.
Hey, I'm just saying. And I would say that 3/4 of the way down, and then there's the neck and head, and then there's the bottom half of the body through to the tail that's untouched, and yeah, you have to cut away some of the space to be able to pull them out without climbing in yourself, but it's only
Yeah, I feel like Railu's going to do anything that they possibly can to not have to climb into this, because Railu, so this is the 9th world, right? Butchering an animal isn't that out of place, but climbing into an animal is a different tauntaun situation that I'm not willing to do.
fair
So,
enough. Totally
yeah.
fair enough.
And we're not off.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, you said it's a level 4, so I mean, the best I can do is apply my 1 level of effort and bring me to 1 strength.
Yeah.
But I can't.
Now,
I mean,
before you roll, you can do some preparation stuff that I'll let you use to drop it down, like using your sword to hack the body, so you're not having to lift out Hillian out. You are just having to pull him out.
yeah, I feel like Railu is going to try to do the best job that they can to not just make it into mush, because they plan on making a lot of food out of this thing.
Sure.
Hold on.
So in my mind, they're trying to cut chunk, because they see Hillian and know Hillian is in a food coma.
Yeah.
So like they're gonna like try to cut away some big portions of meat that they can use for later,
So
and then probably
that will
also have a
take
rope.
you a good 20-25
Mhm.
minutes.
Yeah,
Was
I
there
mean
something- Go ahead.
I was just gonna say this is like in their mind, this is their responsibility per Tiuna. So
Okay. And did you think Charlie was going to do something?
Well, I don't know if this would work or not because I don't know if it's something that like I don't remember what type of item this is, but Charlie does have a gravity nullifier, which could let like Hillian float sort of, and then that might make it easier for Railu to pull them out of this carcass.
but do you know
But I
they're
don't know.
doing this?
I mean, I'm around. I could probably hear you hacking and slashing away at the
All
Juraskar.
you need to do is roll a d6 plus 3.
Oh,
That's a 9.
Okay. So this gravity nullifier will hold anything up to 450 pounds. That said, it'll last an hour. It does say the user can float into the air, moving vertically. I think if you use this on Hillian, Hillian would have to choose to do this. Like, I think it takes conscious
Right.
control. I don't think you can cast it while they're sleeping and not.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't sure if.
So I don't think that's the case, but I have noted that it's a level 9 cipher in
Okay.
Triton, so in the
Yep.
future, anytime you choose to try and use it,
Right.
up to 450 pounds. So you can be carrying, another person with you, depending on how much you weigh and they weigh. So
Cool.
you can do that if you choose to help. I don't know what else you can do.
There's not really a lot else that I think that I could do. Because again, like the other, right? But again, wouldn't that be the same situation where
Yeah.
Hillian would have
You
to
can't take someone
opt into using it?
That's fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't look like there's much you can do there.
So Railu's gonna have to body it.
Unless you want, you've got might, so you could help with just the manhandling.
Yeah.
portion.
All right. Charlie will come down and
You did
and
get an
attempt to
hour-
help.
You got an hour rest.
Right.
You did get some.
I'm feeling a little bit better.
Yeah, some of your.
Rylu's had no rest.
You've gone
Physically, like Charlie's okay because she's only taken speed and intellect out of her pool. Like her might is still the same as it was before the Juraskar fight.
Mhm.
So physically she's all right, but it's just like hard. Like it's like your hands won't quite do what you want them to do because your brain is having a hard time telling your hands to do the thing. So she'll probably go down and help out Railu. But if they're like directing her, she'll be like, wait, do what? But like can assist.
If you two are working together, I think, you can both roll, and we will take the average of the two rolls.
A whole 5.
Two. Okay. No.
It's the Keystone Cups covered in blood.
I think that's really the thing that happens is you sort of cut this Juraskar, so you should be able to reach in and pull out, but it is slippery. There is blood everywhere, and you just aren't able. Hillian is dead weight, and basically double their normal weight because they've eaten a person-sized chunk out of this Juraskar. So you're just not able to get them out. You're able to move them a little, but they're not.
I feel
helping.
like
Go ahead.
Railu would do anything though. Like I feel like Railu would work throughout the night to carve out Hillian if they had to.
Okay. So yeah, if you wait,
Just to be honest.
you can try again. Sure, y'all can do a second roll, but this is for each one of these. It's going to take you an extra 2 hours of sleep to recover because you all are you all are on the last dregs of your
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to mean that when you all are done, you are going to pass out. You can give this one more roll.
I think also though at the same, because it's kind of getting late, right?
Oh yeah, it is.
So Charlie's also like,
Hold on.
maybe the way that Charlie is actually helping right now is like stoking the fire, because without it you won't be able to see what you're cutting at.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make a roll, but I don't have any more effort to apply.
Yeah,
That's a 17.
a 17. So last ditch effort, you are able to get Hillian out of the Juraskar. You are able to move them next to the fire so that they're comfortable. I mean, it's a little cool out, not cold. Y'all are just fine. You are exhausted. I don't think you've got anything left in the gas tank at this point.
I think Railu straight up passes out, like pulls Hilly into the fire and then passes out in front of.
And both of you are just covered in blood. The only person left awake is Charlie.
And she's like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this?
What is Charlie gonna do?
Well, she'll probably stoke the fire again, and then, oh my gosh, she'll probably try to like clean them off like a little bit, but I don't think that she'd be very successful because she's just like disgusted by all like this gross, like bloody meat crap everywhere. And like the more that she helps, the more she's probably going to only get herself looking like that. So,
You know, and there are these.
so she'll make like some efforts just so that way. What was that?
There are
Sorry.
these water sources right next to you all, but you don't know what's in them.
Right.
So I don't know what Charlie would do. You would know if you want to do just a quick int check based on your experience. Injury.
I know nothing.
So
I rolled a 2.
you are so tired you can't even remember, but you do know what's in these waters, and you have no idea if right now, just because you're so exhausted from this fight, as you should be, that you can't even.
Charlie's like, I know there's stuff in the water, but I can't remember, were they active at night or active in the day?
Yeah. So you're doing the best you can. Eventually you're just like, this is not helping. Are you going to try and stay up and watch over them all night, or do you think Charlie would pass out?
So Charlie has like that jar that she can put water in. So while she's not gonna like drag their bodies into the water to clean them off or like do a whole lot of work, so she'll use that jar probably to at least like before Railu passes out, we'll help them get like drink water, and we'll maybe use some of it to just like clean off like some of like the really obvious gross stuff. But like, I mean, our clothes are still all bloody and like, but just like the like debris, the meat debris that's on people's bodies, she'll probably help clean off. And then she'll probably stay up for a little bit to try and watch, but I don't think she'll be able to like keep herself from falling asleep.
I don't either. So
yeah,
the night passes. The three of you are in a heap right next to this Juraskar body. You could not get that far. The fire is you have set it to where it is actually a fairly large blaze, knowing that you are not going to last long. You have this moldy cinnamon smell coming from the northeast and southeast of you. You have the stench of this Juraskar blood all over you, and the Aneen have quieted, and you feel that they are secure. The night gets darker, and
A second Juraskar.
Oh my gosh.
And fortunately for you, it passes uneventfully. There is nothing that you see that comes into play. You are passed out peacefully through the dark of the night. As the morning comes and the sun sort of breaks the skyline and is gentled by all the trees around you, and then starts reflecting off of this pool of water to the northeast of you, you stay in your deep sleeps, because killing a Juraskar is more demanding than anything you have ever done, and all of you have had some pretty harrowing experiences. This has been probably the hardest of the lot, and it takes you a little longer to wake up and recover from this. And at around midday, the three of you finally are able to shake off this torpor you have been in of just exhaustion. As you look around, how does Hillian react?
I think Hillian takes stock of everything that's around them and just notices, what's going on. They're contemplative. They don't freak out or anything. They have a whole attitude of, it happened again.
That's where we're going to end for today. You all did amazingly. I am completely astounded that you were able to take out a Juraskar without taking any injuries from said Juraskar. That's incredible. You all are an amazing party, and I am blown away. You played so beautifully. Even with all of those ones, you all were able to react and fix your situation, and that was fantastic. I think the only thing left is, as you are waking up and sort of exploring around and just disgusted at yourself, but also I think you look at this Juraskar and there's a little bit of amazement on your faces. You're like, did we do this? You do see that this Juraskar has eaten people before, because stuck in its teeth are, bits of other beings, including a couple of what appear to be sentient beings. And one of
Just
them,
a little meat debris.
yeah, and clothing. And I think there's a pouch on one of them that's like stuck, that's just kind of there, that you get to look through.
Fantastic.
Well done.
Yeah.
Thank
Oof.
you all for this game. This was super, super cool. This is the heaviest combat we've had.
Yeah.
And y'all did beautifully. Great job. That's going to be it for us today. I'm Kelric, your narrator. You can find me on Twitter at Cormallon. That's CORMALLON. And I also monitor the EQ Points Twitter. I do this every other Sunday, and on alternating Saturdays, I get to play in our fantastic Starfinder game, and hopefully we'll have a couple other things coming out in the nearest future.
I've been Aaron, and you can find me over at Twitter at Space Persona. I've also recently started streaming on Twitch. I haven't for the last week, but I just released a new stream schedule, so if you feel free to go over, it's at twitch.tv/Catalyst, KATOLYS, and I'll be streaming from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. at least, Monday through Thursday, Pacific Standard Time. So feel free to come hang out and say hi.
Thanks all for tuning in. I'm Cage, and I've been Charlie, and you can find me on Twitter at RageCageRugger, RAGEKAGEX, RUGGER. And a fun little thing is I I've been featured in a short story anthology. You can find that on Drive Through Fiction. It's called Flashbang, a collection of very short stories.
We bought our copy.
And yes, I'm Kenny. You can find me on Twitter at PunderDrone. When I'm not playing a meat-eating bunny, I am DMing a game every other Saturday on Experience Points, this channel here. Catch us next Saturday as we delve into our next episode of the Dawn of Flame adventure path, Soldiers of Brass. And it was amazing. Cannot wait to continue the story. So you can find us there on this channel next Saturday.
Thank you all so much. This has been fantastic. Bye.
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 Thank you so much for listening to Qmenera, an Experience Points podcast. Are your ears burning for another podcast? We cannot recommend enough checking out our sister podcast, Roll to Fail. There are 6 friends who have no business behind the mic, or even rolling dice. The original Experience Points podcast is a Starfinder game that releases every Wednesday. Stay up to date on all the Experience Points Network podcasts at EQ Points on Twitter and on experiencepoints.com. Pardon our dust as I continue updates on the website. Thank you so much for listening.
Hello and welcome to St. Fleur, where the city is modern, the fantasy is urban, and the faction politics are at an all-time high. Join us in Shadows of St. Fleur as we follow the wizard, Alistair Lockwood.
Regret to inform you, I'm not a wizard. I am a master of the arcane arts.
The scholar, Jeremiah Roderick Crawford.
I'm an earl, you know. And you're a baron. Those words carry some weight.
The wolf, Victor Margaret.
Victor stands on the bridge in the cold fog.
The fae who is known only as Silk.
Do we know if this was a standard mugging?
And the vamp, Alex Giroux.
Quite. Because the first time the door opens, I'm going to push her out.
Through their experience in the city. Shadows of St. Fleur is an Urban Shadows actual play podcast with a majority LGBTQ+ cast playing characters finding their way through faction politics, all in pursuit of their own individual goals. Find it wherever you listen to podcasts.